Oh, hello there. I'm Simon Wraith, and welcome to Brown Bag Bible Study, the Bible study that you can do in your lunch break. Now, this will be an introduction to Scripture. It'll give you some information you might not have known. It's going to encourage you to read the Bible, but most importantly, it's presented in bite-sized pieces. Perfect to fit in with our busy lifestyles today. Now, every week I will concentrate on a small part of Scripture, either one of the 73 books of the Bible or a group of related books, and I'll bring you some interesting facts and information to help you understand it. I'll also include some links to further reading, articles, books, magazines, what have you. They're going to help you learn to love sacred Scripture even more. Now this week, the Epistle to the Hebrews. Now traditionally, this has been called St. Paul's letter or epistle to the Hebrews, and it's found in the Bible at the end of the letters of St. Paul. Now it's been said, only half jokingly, that it's not by Paul, not an epistle, and not to the Hebrews. This is not really a fair criticism, although there are elements of truth to all of these three claims. There has always been discussion about Hebrews' authorship, and now it is generally accepted that St. Paul did not write this letter. Even when we look at the canon of the Bible itself, specifically the order of the books, we see hints of the authorship being questioned. Hebrew appears at the end of the letters of St. Paul, even though the letters are placed in descending order of length. One of the evidences presented for the author not being Paul is a difference of style from his other letters. The Greek used is quite different in many ways. It is felt, because of a continuing reference to Timothy as companion, that the author was close to or a companion of Paul, and that some authorities feel the author might have been St. Luke. Others have advanced the position that Pope Clement might have written it, but no one is entirely sure. However, whoever wrote the letter to the Hebrews, there is little serious doubt about the date of composition, which is evidently fairly early for a New Testament work. The references to and familiarity with Jewish temple worship places the composition prior to 70 AD and the destruction of the temple by Titus and the 10th Legion. And the fact there is no reference to the Eucharistic rites, which would bolster the arguments made in the work, suggest a very early date indeed. Hebrews is felt by many to have not been originally written as a letter. Rather, it was written as a sermon or a homily, and only after the fact modified to include the greeting and closing, which are essential elements for an epistle. Finally, the intended audience of the epistle should be addressed. It was clearly written to a specific group of people. They had suffered persecution, and they were likely to suffer more. They were familiar with the Septuagint, and they likely were urban. Some of them had stopped assembling together. Perhaps they had stopped making public practice of the faith, likely because of persecution. In addition, the letter discusses the disagreement between two camps of the early church: the Judaizers, who felt Christians must keep to Jewish law and convert to Judaism, and the Antinomians, who felt the Jews needed to reject the Jewish law because of Christ. The letter is felt by many to be written to Jewish Christians outside of Palestine, hence to the Hebrews, although there is debate and disagreement. You'll be pleased to hear that once the issues of authorship and audience and what the book is are dealt with and are set aside, the meaning and message of Hebrews is clear. It is a broad exhortation to Christians, a sweeping explanation of much of the richness of the faith, particularly with regard to the uniquely Christian elements of the worship of God. Much is made of Christ's sovereignty, his role in salvation history, and the fundamental change which took place when Christ was born, suffered, died, and was resurrected. Hebrews is a book which rewards a prayerful reflection, and we should not allow our spiritual growth to be dragged down by dry and ultimately fruitless academic debates. So, take some time and read the letter to the Hebrews. If you are inclined, take a look at the additional resources, although do not feel you absolutely have to delve into the questions of authorship, audience, etc. Next week, we're going to dive into another group of New Testament books with an overview of the general or Catholic epistles. Until then, I'm Simon Wraith, and God bless. To learn more about the place of Scripture in the lives of Catholic Christians, I urge you to read Pope Benedict's apostolic exhortation Verbum Domini. The Pope encourages all Catholics to read, learn, and love Scripture, and to understand its relation to the Church. A link to this exhortation is included in the reading materials for every episode of Brown Bag Bible Study. Just click the link over there.